Hi everyone! Welcome back to Mountain Home Stories, your cozy reading corner. It's great to have you here again. Today I'm taking you on a very special journey deep into the nostalgic bygone days. Close your eyes. It's Sunday morning in the 90s. No smartphones, no stress, just pure childhood magic. This is our story. But before we begin, a gentle reminder, just take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your wonderful support keeps our quiet reading community growing every week. So now let's begin. A 90s Sunday Saga. The box of old photographs. There is a distinct fragrance to a 1990s childhood. A blend of wet earth after the first monsoon rain, the sweet aroma of melting orange ice candies, and the sharp scent of freshly sharpened Apsara pencils. It was a time when the world moved at the speed of a bicycle wheel, and the greatest daily adventure was catching the glimpse of a favorite cartoon before the afternoon power cut arrived. Today, when we look back, those years feel less like a past era and more like a golden, sun-drenched afternoon that we never wanted to end. This is the story of Rahul and Priya, two siblings navigating the simple, chaotic, and beautiful landscape of a 90s Indian household. Through their eyes, we revisit a time before smartphones and endless scrolling, an era when happiness wasn't measured in likes, but in the number of cracks rings you could fit on your fingers. And the true meaning of peace was a long afternoon nap under a spinning fan. Turn the page, leave the digital world behind, and step back into the warmth of a 90s Sunday. Part 1. The Guardians of the Living Room. The clock in the living room had just ticked past 2 p.m. on a blazing June afternoon. Outside, the colony lanes were completely deserted, surrendered to the blinding Indian summer sun. Inside, however, the house belonged entirely to Rahul and Priya. With their parents retreating to the bedroom for a quiet afternoon respite, the siblings became the absolute rulers of their small universe. The house was quiet, save for the distant, familiar sounds of the neighborhood, a stray dog barking under a shaded porch, and the metallic clinking of a neighbor washing utensils. The air inside was thick and heavy, the kind of heat that made your skin prickle and your eyelids drop. But for Rahul and Priya, the heat was just a minor detail in a day meant for grand adventures. The hum of the heavy teal table fan was the sweetest sound of summer. It swiveled slowly on the wooden stool, cutting through the heavy Indian afternoon heat. Rahul and Priya stood right in its path, laughing as a sudden gush of cool air billowed Priya's polka dot dress and ruffled Rahul's hair. Armed with a stack of comic books and a wooden cricket bat, they sought out the ultimate oasis in their home, the one object that promised instant relief and absolute joy. The room was filled with their treasures. Champak comic books scattered on the rug, a wooden cricket bat resting by the bed, and a toy train stopped mid-track. On the wall, posters of Sholay and old Bollywood classics looked down on their innocent joy. There were no smartphones or internet screens. True 90s happiness was simply standing barefoot on a woven carpet, sharing the breeze of a single fan with your sibling, and letting the carefree summer afternoon stretch on forever. Part 2. The Morning Ritual. But long before the afternoon heat forced them to stand barefoot in front of the swiveling fan, the real magic of the day had already unfolded. In fact, As the wind from the fan ruffled Rahul's hair, he was still humming a tune under his breath, a catchy, high-energy melody that had been stuck in his head since breakfast. It was the theme song to DuckTales, a track that served as the weekly anthem for every 90s kid. To truly understand the rhythm of their Sunday, one has to rewind the clock to the early hours of the morning. Back when the day was fresh, the afternoon power cut was hours away, and the entire living room revolved around a single wooden TV cabinet. For Rahul and Priya, Sunday didn't begin when the sun rose. It began when the countdown to their favorite shows officially started. Whether it was watching Baloo fly his plane in Talespin, being spellbound by the grand magic of Chandrakanta, or waiting for the adventures of Aladdin, this was their sacred window to the world. The old black and white television set took exactly 2 minutes to warm up, its screen fuzzy with static until the signal finally snapped into place. It was 8:55 a.m. on a Sunday. Rahul and Priya sat cross-legged on the cool floor, eyes glued to the screen, barely breathing. The heavy teal table fan hummed behind them, but neither noticed the heat. They were waiting for the familiar, magical title track of The Jungle Book or DuckTales to fill the room. Sunday morning was the crown jewel of a 90s childhood. There were no on-demand videos or streaming apps. If you missed the broadcast, the magic was gone forever. For one glorious hour, the scattered comic books, the cricket bat, and the toy train were completely forgotten. As the cartoon finally started, their faces lit up with pure delight. It was a simple weekly ritual shared with millions of other children across the neighborhood. A fleeting hour of pure television gold before the afternoon power cut arrived. Part 3: Flavors of the Screen. As the animated worlds of DuckTales and The Jungle Book captivated their imaginations, a different kind of magic was brewing just a few meters away in the kitchen. In a 90s household, a television marathon was never a solitary experience. It was always accompanied by the comforting symphony of domestic life. The rhythmic whistling of the pressure cooker and the hiss of a hot iron tawa blended perfectly with the cartoon sound effects, teasing their senses and making their mouths water in anticipation. Right as the show reached its midday peak, the commercial break provided the perfect cue. The bedroom doors opened and the unmistakable aroma of a Sunday feast floated into the living room, signaling that the ultimate companion to their morning cartoons had finally arrived. The ultimate companion to Sunday morning cartoons was a perfectly timed, simple homemade treat. As the animated characters leaped across the glowing television screen, a sweet, comforting aroma drifted from the kitchen. Their mother walked into the room carrying a steel plate piled high with hot, crispy prantas or sweet golden suji halwa. Sometimes it was a packet of salty cracks rings, which Rahul and Priya immediately slipped onto all 10 of their fingers before eating them one by one. To wash it down, there were tall steel glasses of chilled Rasna or bright pink Rooh Afza, mixed carefully with sugar and ice cubes from the single rubber tray in the freezer. Every bite was savored in front of the TV. There were no health fads or fancy packaging, just simple, sugary, and savory comforts that made Sunday mornings taste just as magical as they looked. Part 4: The Last Ring Standing. For a while, the living room was filled with a rare, peaceful truce. The only sounds were the dramatic television audio and the synchronized crunching of gong rings. But in a 90s household shared between siblings, peace was always a fragile thing. A packet of cracks was never just a snack. It was a ticking clock. As the pile of rings on the steel plate began to dwindle, the focus shifted from the television screen back to the prize in front of them. The casual chewing stopped, replaced by sharp side eyes and strategic calculations as both kids realized the inevitable. There was an odd number of rings and a battle was brewing.
"Give it back, Rahul. You already have 5.
Priya lunged across the rug, her polka-dot dress swirling as she reached for the steel plate. The very last cracks ring sat right in the center, and a silent treaty had just been broken. Rahul, with 4 rings already wedged onto his fingers like edible crowns, scrambled backward, his bare feet slipping on the woven carpet. He stuffed the final crunchy ring onto his thumb with a victorious grin.
"It's mine. I saw it first,"
he cheered, waving his fully loaded hand just out of her reach. Priya pouted, threatening to change the TV channel to the news if he didn't share. Realizing the stakes were too high with DuckTales still playing, Rahul relented. He bit off half the ring directly from his thumb and handed the rest to her. They ate the final pieces in a hasty truce, laughing with orange crumbs dusting their faces, completely content with their tiny Sunday morning victory. Part 5. The Darkness Descends. With the last cracks ring successfully split and the sibling truce restored, Rahul and Priya settled back on the floor, their eyes locking onto the television screen once more. The cartoon was rushing toward its grand finale. The music was swelling, the skates were incredibly high, and the hero was just seconds away from executing a brilliant master plan. The kids held their breath, completely immersed in the glowing box, utterly unaware that the harsh reality of a 1990s summer was about to pull the plug on their fantasy world. Just as the cartoon hero was about to save the day, the television screen snapped into a sharp black line and vanished. The heavy teal table fan groaned, its blades slowing down to a pathetic, agonizing halt. The sudden, absolute silence in the room was deafening. Rahul and Priya froze in sheer disbelief before letting out a collective, heartbroken groan.
"Power cut!"
Rahul yelled at the ceiling. The stifling June heat rushed back into the room instantly. Within minutes, sweat began to bead on their foreheads. There were no backup generators or inverters to save them. The afternoon load shedding was a stubborn 90s reality that could last for hours. Priya sighed, slumped against the bed, while Rahul picked up his wooden cricket bat. The magical cartoon world was gone, but the afternoon was far from ruined. Part 6. The Sweet Escape. As the heat inside the room grew more oppressive by the minute, sitting idle became impossible. The sticky summer air felt thick, and the walls of the house seemed to radiate the afternoon sun. Rahul and Priya were just about to lose their patience when a distant, magical sound drifted through the open window, offering the ultimate summer salvation. The sharp, rhythmic ring of a brass bell echoed down the quiet afternoon street, instantly shattering the heavy summer silence.
"The ice cream uncle!"
Rahul shouted, abandoning his toy train mid-track. Priya was already on her feet. They sprinted to the window, pushing past the white curtains to see the familiar local vendor pushing his heavy wooden cart, shaded by a tattered umbrella. Within seconds, children from every house emerged like clockwork, clutching shiny 2 rupee and 5 rupee coins, squeezed tightly in their sweaty palms. Rahul and Priya raced down the steps barefoot. They didn't want fancy sundaes. The ultimate prize was a bright orange ice candy or a milky saffron-infused kulfi frozen on a stick. Standing in a circle with the neighborhood kids under the shade of a neem tree, they tore off the plastic wrappers. They ate quickly, laughing as the sticky, sweet orange syrup melted down their wrists in the June heat. It was the perfect, icy finale to a golden 90s Sunday. Part 7. The Alleyway Playground. Once the last drops of sticky orange syrup were licked off their fingers and wrists, the children had no intention of going back inside their stuffy houses. The street was already full of kids energized by the sugar and freed from the confines of television. The sudden blackout had unintentionally created a perfect opportunity for the entire neighborhood to wake up and reclaim the outdoors. Rahul gripped his wooden cricket bat while Priya looked around the dirt road, her eyes searching for the perfect equipment for their next big challenge. The sudden blackout was the ultimate cue for the entire neighborhood to wake up. Rahul had his cricket bat. Priya scooped up a handful of smooth, flat stones and they burst through the front door into the tree-lined alley. Within minutes, the street was alive with the shouts of a dozen kids who had also been booted outside by the power cut. Since it was too hot for a full cricket match, Priya immediately rallied the group for a chaotic game of Pitthu, 7 stones. They carefully stacked the flat rocks into a neat tower. Rahul took aim with a worn-out tennis ball, threw it hard and cheered as the stones scattered across the dirt. The alley instantly transformed into a battlefield of laughter, dust, and frantic running as one team scrambled to restack the stones while the others tried to out them with the ball. When they tired of Pitthu, they switched to Chhupai, hide and seek, using the massive trunks of the neighborhood neem trees and the gaps between old scooters as perfect hiding spots until the sun began to dip. Part 8. The Grand Feast. The afternoon sun was finally starting to bend, casting long shadows across the dusty alleyway. Just as Rahul found the perfect hiding spot behind an old Bajaj Chetak scooter, the unmistakable, rich aroma of bubbling spices and roasting meat drifted through the air. It was a sensory siren call that no 90s kid could resist. Across the neighborhood, front doors began to creak open as mothers stepped out onto their verandas, their voices echoing down the lane in a familiar chorus calling everyone home. The smell of mustard oil and bubbling spices signaled that the games were officially over. As the sun hit its peak, the chaotic shouts in the alley faded because every mother on the block was calling their kids inside. Rahul and Priya washed their dusty hands and feet under the courtyard tap, the cold water refreshing their sunburned skin before they hurried to the kitchen. Sunday lunch was the ultimate culinary event of the week. Unlike the quick, simple weekday meals, today the floor was laid out with mats and the table fan was turned toward the dining area. Their mother served a feast that usually centered around a rich, aromatic Sunday mutton curry or fish curry cooked slowly with large pieces of soft, gravy-soaked potatoes. It was accompanied by a mountain of steaming white rice, crispy fried potatoes, aloo bhaja, and a side of sweet tomato chutney. The entire family sat together on the floor, eating with their hands in absolute satisfaction. There was no background noise from a TV or phones, just the steady hum of the fan, the sound of bones being cracked for marrow, and the happy, heavy silence of a family completely well fed and ready for a long afternoon nap. Part 9. The Sunday Slumber. With the final plates of rice whipped clean and a shared sense of absolute contentment around the room, a heavy, comfortable lethargy began to set in. In the 90s, a Sunday lunch of this scale carried an unspoken rule. It had to be followed by absolute stillness. The bustling energy of the morning games dissolved completely into the quiet rhythm of a house shutting down for the hottest hours of the day. The heavy, rich Sunday lunch acted like an immediate sedative under the rhythmic, hypnotic hum of the table fan. Rahul and Priya collapsed onto the cool bed sheets, their bellies full and their limbs heavy from the morning's street games. The white curtains were drawn tightly across the window, filtering the harsh afternoon sun into a soft, hazy glow. The room grew quiet, save for the steady thrum, thrum, thrum of the fan swiveling back and forth, distributing a warm but comforting breeze. Their father was already fast asleep on the floor mat, an open newspaper draped across his face, while their mother gently massaged Priya's hair with a little coconut oil. Within minutes, both kids drifted into that deep, completely carefree sleep unique to a 90s childhood afternoon. There were no alarms to set, no buzzing notifications to wake them, and no calendar alerts. Just 2 solid hours of pure, uninterrupted rest where time stood completely still. Part 10. The Awakening. Slowly, the golden haze of the afternoon shifted into the cool, long shadows of a fading Sunday. The house began to stir gently from its deep slumber. The first sign of life was always the rhythmic clatter of brass containers and the strike of a matchstick in the kitchen. In every 90s household, waking up from a Sunday nap was never abrupt. It was a slow, beautiful awakening, guided entirely by the comforting sounds and aromas of the upcoming evening. The heavy afternoon sleep faded away to the gentle clinking of steel spoons against ceramic cups. By 5:30 p.m., the harsh summer heat had softened into a breezy dusk. Rahul and Priya woke up, rubbed their eyes, and followed the rich aroma of crushed ginger and cardamom straight into the veranda. Evening tea was a sacred ritual that officially marked the end of Sunday and transitioned the family into the evening. Their parents sat on cane chairs, slowly sipping piping hot milk chai from saucers to cool it down. For the kids, there were tall steel glasses of warm milk mixed with Bonvita or Complan. The real highlight was a snack plate placed in the center. Today it was a mix of sweet, crispy Parle-G biscuits, carefully timed and dunked into the hot tea before they could break and sink to the bottom, alongside a bowl of spicy, crunchy Haldiram's bhujia. They sat together as a family, watching the sky turn a deep amber, listening to the birds settle into the nearby neem trees, enjoying the quiet comfort of a 90s evening before the reality of Monday morning crept in. Part 11. Wheels of Freedom. The sugary energy from the Bonvita and the crunch of the bhujia acted like an immediate spark, shaking off the last remnants of afternoon sleep. As the sun dipped lower, painting the sky in shades of deep orange and purple, The cool evening breeze brought a fresh wave of excitement. The street outside was waking up again, filled with the murmurs of walking elders and the distant laughter of friends. It was that precious, fleeting hour of dusk where the freedom of the weekend felt limitless, and the best way to chase it was on two wheels. The moment the last Parle-G crumb was over, Rahul and Priya bolted for the courtyard to unlock their ultimate prized possessions, a bright red BSA SLR bicycle and a smaller one with training wheels. The air had finally cooled down and the colony lanes were transforming into a bustling social hub. Shadows stretched long across the asphalt as the kids pedaled furiously out of their gate, the metallic ping-ping of their bicycle bells clearing a path through the walking elders. Soon they merged with a flying pack of neighboring friends. The rules of the evening were simple but intense. The first one to pedal from the overhead water tank to the colony's main gate without touching their feet to the ground was crowned the champion. Rahul stood up on his pedals, leaning forward to catch speed, while Priya pedaled with all her might right behind him, the warm wind whipping against their faces. They rode around in circles until the streetlights suddenly flickered to life, casting a yellow glow over the dusty lanes, the ultimate visual cue that it was finally time to head home. Part 12. The Lane of Whispers. As the yellow glare of the streetlights flooded the asphalt, the high-speed bicycle races came to a sudden halt. The dusk was settling deeply into the colony, bringing with it a familiar, comforting neighborhood rhythm. Guided by the visual cue of the glowing lamps, Rahul and Priya turned their handlebars towards home, coasting back into their courtyards with flushed cheeks and breathless laughs. But just as they kick-standed their bikes, a loud, resonant cry echoed down the lane, drawing every household back to their front gates for the final social ritual of the day. Just as the kids parked their bicycles in the courtyard, the familiar sing-song cry of the sabziwala, vegetable vendor, echoed through the lane. Fresh tomatoes, green peas, sweet corn. His heavy wooden cart, loaded with neatly stacked pyramids of vibrant green chilies, purple brinjals, muddy potatoes, rolled to a stop right outside their gate. Like clockwork, the front doors of the colony opened, and a small crowd of neighborhood mothers emerged, steel bowls and cloth bags, thelas in hand. Priya's mother stepped out to join them, and the cart instantly transformed into the local news and gossip hub. While the mothers meticulously inspected the cauliflowers for worms and haggled over the price of onions, they exchanged updates on whose relative was visiting, who was sick, and what was being cooked for dinner. Rahul and Priya hovered around the cart, not for the vegetables, but for the vendor's grand finale. After the weighing scale finally balanced and the money changed hands, their mother looked at the vendor and without a word, he tossed a handful of fresh coriander leaves and a few sharp green chilies into her bag for free. The ultimate, non-negotiable 90s Dhania Mirchi bonus. Part 13. The Monday Shadow. The cheerful banter around the vegetable cart eventually faded as the mothers walked back inside, carrying their fresh produce and the latest neighborhood news. The front gates clicked shut one by one, and a sudden, quiet stillness descended over the house. The bright, golden freedom of the day began to recede, replaced by a subtle, creeping anxiety that every student of the 1990s knew all too well. The wall clock seemed to tick a little louder, and the calendar on the wall felt like a ticking countdown to the inevitable conclusion of the weekend. The ultimate mood killer of a perfect 90s Sunday always arrived around 8:30 p.m. The sudden, crushing realization that tomorrow was Monday. The carefree magic of the cricket matches, ice candies, and cartoons evaporated the moment Priya's mother called out, "Did you finish your homework? Go pack your bags." Rahul and Priya dragged their feet to the study table, the wooden chair legs scraping loudly against the floor. Rahul pulled out his heavy canvas school bag and opened his school diary, the ultimate book of doom. He flipped through the pages, praying he hadn't forgotten a signature or a hidden maths assignment. The routine was a precise, tactile ritual, checking the timetable written on the first page of the diary, sliding the brown paper-covered textbooks and notebooks into the back compartments, sharpening the Apsara extra dark pencils into the trash can, making sure the tips were perfect, checking the Natraj geometry box to ensure the compass and divider weren't rattling loose. As they zipped up the heavy bags, a quiet gloom settled over the room. The weekend was officially over. The only silver lining was knowing that in just 6 days, the heavy teal table fan would be waiting to welcome them to another perfect Sunday. Part 14. The Circle of Warmth. The heavy zips of the canvas school bags closed with a definitive click, signaling the end of their weekend duties. Though the shadow of Monday morning lingered in the room, it was gently pushed aside by a comforting sound from the kitchen, the steady, musical rhythm of a wooden rolling pin shaping perfect discs of dough. In a 90s household, no matter how daunting the upcoming week felt, the dining mat was a sacred space where the family gathered to reset, share a laugh, and close the day as one cohesive unit. The aroma of hot, puffed-up chapatis flipping off the iron tawa signaled the final gathering of the day. By 9:15 p.m., the dread of Monday morning was temporarily pushed aside as the family sat together on the dining mat. The heavy teal table fan was adjusted one last time, humming softly as it swept its breeze across the floor. Dinner was a simpler, lighter affair than the grand afternoon feast, usually consisting of warm dal, a dry vegetable fry like bhindi or aloo jeera, and a pile of soft rotis wrapped in a cloth napkin to keep them warm. With no television screen to distract them, the conversation flowed naturally. Their father talked about a new project at the office. Their mother reminded the kids about their upcoming unit tests. Rahul and Priya bickered gently over who got the largest, roundest chapati. In the background, soft, melodious voice of Kishore Kumar or Lata Mangeshkar floated from the BPL tape recorder, playing a cassette of classic oldies. Eating with their hands, sharing laughs, and listening to the familiar tunes, the family felt a deep sense of security and warmth. A perfect, quiet anchor to end a beautiful 90s Sunday. Part 15. The Safe Haven. With the dinner plates cleared away and the soft melody of the cassette recorder fading into silence, the house began to transition to its final, quieter state. The lively chatter of the day dissolved into the gentle rustle of bed sheets and the soft clicking of switches. Outside, the colony had grown completely still under the starlit sky, leaving behind the chaotic energy of the weekend. For Rahul and Priya, the ultimate shield against the humid summer night was about to be carefully tucked into place, creating a cozy world where only sweet dreams were allowed. The ultimate shield against the humid summer night was carefully tucked into place just before the lights went out. By 10 p.m., the cool night breeze finally drifted through the open window. Father tucked the edges of a massive white mosquito net under the mattress, sealing Rahul and Priya inside a secure, translucent fortress. The kids crawled into the cozy enclosure, the fabric smelling faintly of blue Ujala liquid detergent. The heavy teal table fan was pushed close to the bed, blowing directly against the mesh fabric. The air chopped through the net, creating a soothing, steady woof, woof, woof sound that acted as the ultimate lullaby. Lying flat on their backs, Rahul and Priya stared up at the dark ceiling, watching the sharp blades of the fan cut through the moonlight, listening to the distant rhythmic thumping of the night watchman's stick on the colony asphalt, feeling the heavy, satisfying exhaustion of a day spent entirely in motion. Safe from mosquitoes and completely detached from the busy world outside, they closed their eyes. The perfect 90s Sunday was officially over, fading into a deep, peaceful sleep, ready to meet Monday morning with a rested heart. Epilogue: The Timeless Afternoon. Decades have passed since that warm June evening. The heavy teal table fans have been replaced by silent air conditioners, black and white TVs by sleek flat screens, and the anticipation of Sunday morning cartoons by instant streaming. Rahul and Priya have grown up, navigating a fast-paced digital world of smartphones and endless notifications. Yet, on certain quiet, sweltering summer afternoons, if they close their eyes and listen closely, they can still hear it. The slow hum of the fan, the crisp crunch of a crack's ring, and the distant ring of the ice cream vendor's bell. Because the 1990s wasn't just a decade on a calendar. It was a feeling of safety, simplicity, and boundless joy that remains tucked safely under a white mosquito net, forever waiting to be remembered. If this story brought back a flood of memories, please like, share, and subscribe for more nostalgic story journeys. What was your absolute favorite part of a 90s Sunday? Let me know your favorite childhood memory in the comments below. We'll meet soon in our next story. Till then, take care and bye-bye.